video will be focusing on the first test for getting a driver's license, so the written test. I'm going to go more in depth on the whole process, how I prepared for the test, and what kind of questions actually showed up on the test and everything. Sorry if you are hearing that. That's Gertie, as usual, wanting attention. Yeah, okay, come here. Thank you. So everyone, here she is, always wanting here. And here comes Kimchi. You might see her face. Yeah, Kimchi, that's my phone. Wow, isn't that interesting? She's right behind the phone smelling it. Hopefully we can get through this video without her pushing it down. So anyways, let's get to this video. So first, I'm going to talk about how I prepared for the test, like what materials I used to study. So first I used this picture that I found on a website, which I'll put linked below, of all the traffic signs that might be shown on the test. So I'll go ahead and insert that picture here if you would like it. And so yeah, that was the first thing I did, was look at those traffic signs to just see, you know, what those were here in Korea. And then second was I found 2 different apps that helped you for studying for the Korean driver's license. And sorry, I just got a notification from the Korean government about like a rise in the coronavirus here in this province. Anyways, what was I saying? The 2 apps I used for studying were very helpful, and I made a quick little video showing you what the apps are and how I use them and my what I thought about each of those apps. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that here for you guys. Okay, so the first app that I used was this one called the Korean driver's license exam. So if you just go into your app store and look up Korean driver's license exam, this should be one of the first ones that pop up. And it's in English, and these are all the different styles of the questions. So there's the sentences, and then here in the purple it tells you what the correct answer is. So this was good to just learn. I used this to find out what the rules are, what the questions style was like, and everything. Unfortunately, you couldn't do any kind of self-testing with these because it automatically tells you the answer just like this. And then there's also the traffic signs questions. So yeah, this was, like I said, good for just studying. And luckily I found out about this second app called 운전면허 Plus. And in this, it's all Korean, but I believe in the settings you can change the language. And then if you just do, dang it, sorry about that. My cats decided to jump on me. But anyways, for changing the language, you can just go, I believe, to the 문제 update 설정. So right here, and then at the top it'll say the different languages. And obviously I'm in English. And then once you go back to the first page, if you are getting the driver's license type number 2, which is for general cars, then you would click the pink car right here, And then here it has the questions, and then you are able to say what the answer is. Like if that, oh, it's wrong, so then you can do it again. Oh, it's wrong. And if you need to know what the answer is, then you go to, at the top on the right, it says 속성 암기 mode. So you just click that, and now it automatically tells you what the answer is. Also, if you are having a hard time with a specific question, you can heart it and then go back to it later. At the bottom here is a heart. You just click it and it gives you whichever questions that you did put a heart on. And once you are finished with that question and you feel pretty confident, you can just unheart it and continue on. So you can just keep going to each question, each style of question for studying. And I think this was the most helpful app that I found that helped prepare me for the written test. So I'll go back to my video. So those are the main things that I used for studying to prepare for the test. And I guess I can just recap quickly what the test is. So this is the written test, like I said earlier, and it has 40 questions, and you have 40 minutes to complete all of the questions, which I think is plenty of time. And as you've seen in the apps that I just showed you, there's different types of questions. And for the type 2 license, you needed, let me see. So for the type 2 license, you need to have a score of 60 or higher. And for the class 1 license, you need 70 or higher. Which honestly I think most people can probably get. On my test I got 89 points, which I'm not sure exactly how the point system works since there are only 40 questions. But yeah, I got 89 and I was very worried beforehand. I was super nervous. But yeah, don't worry too much as long as you look over those apps I showed you and the traffic signs. You should have no problem at all. So I'm just gonna quickly talk about how I took the test. So I did it through my Hagwon here in Mokpo. So I left work early around 12 o'clock and I arrived at the Hagwon like 12:20, 12:15, and we had to leave at 12:30 in like a big van with me and fellow students going to take the test, the written test. And for all people trying to get a license here in my province, Jeollanam-do, you have to go to Naju to do the the written test at least. So that's about an hour away from Mokpo. So we arrived there, and for me the process was very easy because my Hagwon took care of all the paperwork and everything. So I just followed my fellow students up to the 3rd floor. I believe, yeah, the 3rd floor. And I did not record any of this because, like I said, I was super nervous and I was studying, going through the questions that I had a difficult time remembering the answer for, and I just wanted to focus on passing the test. So I did not record anything while I was there. But yeah, I got to the 3rd floor. Me and my fellow students, we had to wait in the waiting area outside for the computers to be available. And after our waiting was finished, we went into the testing room And the worker there gave each of us our paper, and on the paper it told us what the computer number that we were supposed to sit at was, as well as what the password at the computer for us specifically was. So we went there, we did the test, and before you take the test, on your paper it should say what language the test will be in. So if you get your paper and it says Korean test, and you can't speak Korean fluently, or you would prefer a different language, then I think you should definitely talk to the worker before sitting down at the computer. But yeah, so mine said English, and I sat down at the computer. There were headphones that you could use. I'm not sure why, since there was no sound in any of the questions. Maybe just to not be distracted by the other people testing. But that was there, and there was a little wooden box to put your phone in behind the computer monitor. So then you obviously wouldn't be able to look at that while you're testing or cheating or whatever like that, just to prevent that kind of thing from happening. But yeah, like I said, the actual test was very much easier than I was expecting. So most of the questions at the beginning were more like number based questions, like in this kind of situation, what would the fine, how much would you have to pay, or how many points would be deducted from you on your license if you do this certain thing, that kind of thing. That's what my struggle was, remembering that stuff. So I was super scared at the beginning, but after the first 5 questions, it was more just common sense questions. If there's someone walking in the road, do you just go past them? Do you stop? Those kind of things. And there's only one video at the end, video question, which was also pretty easy to answer as well. But yeah, that's all I can remember at the moment about the test questions. Majority of them were just common sense questions, which thank goodness. But yes, that's pretty much that process. And then right at the end of taking the test, you are able to click like you are finished. And you're sure you're finished. You're able to, I forgot to say, you're able to go back to questions you've taken. You're able to change the answers, as long as you don't click that you are finished. So once you click the button that says you are finished, then that's it. No more changes are able to happen. So definitely, I recommend looking over your questions at least one time before clicking the finish button. Like I said, I only used about 18-20 minutes out of the 40 minutes available to do all the questions, and then look over them one time afterwards, and then click the finish button. So 40 minutes, you will definitely have enough time. Just don't rush. If you have some question that you're not sure about, just skip it and go back to it later. But yeah, that's how the questions showed up. And after you click the finish button and they're like, are you sure? And then you say yes, then it will show you what your score was. And that's the only place that I've seen the actual number. It did not show up on my paper that I know of, at least, maybe behind the scenes. But yeah, if you want to know what your overall score is, you have to pay attention at the screen. It'll only show for a short time. And then after you finish the test and it tells you the score, then you will go to the worker. You will give them your paper that they gave you, and they will stamp it saying you passed or you failed. And then for me, since I was going through the Hagwon, I went back downstairs and gave my paper back to one of the instructors, the instructor who drove all of us to the Naju testing center. And that was pretty much it for that test. Oh, also for the test you needed to have a MON one, so 10,000 Korean won, about $10 in cash to give to the Naju Center when you arrive with your paperwork. But since, like I said, I went to the Hagwon, I just gave it to my instructor at the Hagwon before leaving to Naju, and they took care of everything. But yeah, that's the only other thing left that I can remember about the written test. I did find some pictures of what the outside and inside of the Naju testing center looked like, so I'll go ahead and insert those here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the first test. Like I said, don't stress yourself out too much if you are going to take this test. Just make sure to look at that signs paper and sorry, Kimchi decided she wanted to sit here, right here. But look at the signs, look at those apps, at least go through the questions a couple times. I know there are a lot of questions on the app, but I think you should definitely go through all of the questions at least 2 times, and then you should do pretty well on the written test. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the first test, anything that I forgot to mention or what you're curious about, or if you have a different experience at all, please go ahead and put those down below. And if you liked this video, please put a thumbs up. If you did not, then go ahead, put the thumbs down. And yeah, please stay happy, safe, and healthy. Bye bye!